We have 6 amazing sessions coming up, and just for you to know, our lightning talks this is our first experiment. Yesterday we had the first block of lightning talks. Today we're featuring another set of 6 amazing projects coming from our community, JournalismAI Connect, our workspace at Slack that you all can join, and where you can all talk with all these people. And just to start with, I'm just giving control to Nikita, who will start sharing with us what she has learned from over 30 industry experts about AI's impacts. Nikita, it's all to you.
Thanks, Anna. Hi, everyone. Very excited to be here with you all today to share my top 5 insights that I've learned from speaking to over 30 industry experts about AI. So I've been on this journey since April of this year when I launched the Newsroom Robots podcast, where every week I speak to an industry expert and learn how they're using AI and the considerations that we should be taking into account. And so my first key takeaways from talking to all these amazing people, and one that I'm most excited about, is that AI is going to revolutionize the news delivery experience. Because let's be honest, the news experience hasn't seen much innovation. It's still a one-size-fits-all model where we took our print newspaper and put that online, while everything around us, all the apps, social media, your Netflix, Amazon account, it's tailored to you. One that I'm most excited about is audio personalization. Uli Koppen, who leads the AI team at the German public broadcaster Bavarian Broadcasting, spoke on the podcast about a brand new product they introduced that's called Regional Remix. It's a personalized regional audio update, so you can get located by their app or type in a zip code, and then the algorithm does a personalized version of the news for you that happened around a certain place. And this is a glimpse of what's happening on the personalization front. Another thing I've noticed is that some of the most exciting innovation and use cases right now with generative AI is coming from local newsrooms. The barrier to entry with using generative AI is low because you can interact with it in natural language and get help with all sorts of tasks like business use cases like grant writing, helping with extracting unstructured data from PDFs, sales emails and pitches. So generative AI is transforming local newsrooms and allowing them to do more with the limited resources that they have. An exciting newsroom that I had on the podcast was Toronto Verse. It's a hyper-local news website for Toronto, and Kristen, the publisher, spoke about how they created a Discord bot to analyze data from the city of Toronto. And this allowed their community and even their own journalists to ask questions in plain language, like how much of the City of Toronto spend on police operations in the past year, and it would show a graph along with data, making the task of data exploration much easier and allowing them to find trends in data that they could have otherwise missed out on. And then the third, and probably the most that I'm worried about, is generative AI search is set to change our search traffic. And I'm not sure we're ready for this. If you've tried out Bard from Google or Bing Chat from Microsoft, their user experience is incredible. And my issue is, and the problem I'm foreseeing, is that if this becomes the default search website, what's going to happen to our search traffic? And that's why we need to focus on building direct ties with our audience right now, focusing on channels like email newsletters, sending news through text, community events, so that we are able to build a deeper connection with our audience. My fourth takeaway is a point from Francesco Marconi on the podcast. He formerly led AI efforts at the Wall Street Journal and AP, and now is the CEO of Applied Excel. He came on the podcast to talk about how should we be thinking about partnerships with tech companies. Large language models just need to train once on your data and be able to harness the benefits and the potential from there. And so instead, we should be focusing on royalty-based models instead of licensing deals like partnerships with tech companies. And finally, the most important point, and one that I'm most passionate about and actively working on, is AI literacy. It's a must for everyone in the newsroom. We are living in a world, and the future is going to be even more driven by AI. And so as the news industry, we owe it to our audience to be active experimenters of this technology, because, well, our audience and everyone we're living with are going to be experimenting with AI, and we're going to be part of this AI-driven world. One misconception about generative AI is that because it's in natural language and you can go to ChatGPT and chat with it, it makes it feel like you're using correctly, when in fact, like any other tool, you need to know how to use it effectively. And that's where AI literacy comes into play. I've been teaching generative AI workshops since May, and my favorite moment is when it clicks in people's minds and it just makes sense just how the tool can help them, and they know how to use it correctly and use it for the right cases. And so this is not a tool that should be left to the product teams to experiment with, because every person who uses this tool might have unique use cases that they are able to find out, and would help you as an organization to innovate with generative AI. And this is something that requires collaboration across the newsroom. And so those are the top insights that I've gathered throughout this year. If you want to explore more about AI in journalism, I have over 30 episodes now on the Newsroom Robots podcast that you can catch up on to help you along in this AI journey. And we also have a Substack newsletter, so please reach out if you have any questions. Thanks, Anna.
Perfect. Thank you, Nikita. And now we are heading to our second talk with Winston. Where you are, there you are. You have already control. So, Winston, are you there? Let's see.
I think Winston needs to unmute himself.
Sorry. Winston, there you are. Okay, your turn.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So my presentation basically Africa Brief AI at GPT via WhatsApp. So oh God. Can someone control the presentation? So briefly, I'm a journalism lecturer live at here in Malawi, and I'm also founder and editor-in-chief of Africa Brief. This is in my publication. It's based in Malawi, and yeah. So over the years, we've been thinking about how we can use AI over the years. I think it has been proven that AI, just like as the presenter said, can be many purposes that you can think. Actually, your creativity or your lack of creativity is the only limitation. For example, the Associated Press has done a commendable job. It has divided use of AI into 3 categories. It is in the newsroom. For example, you can use it for news gathering, you can use it for news production, you can also use AI for news distribution. And then at Africa Brief, over time, we thought of how we can use AI, especially Malawi, where people have only access, for most of the times, only access to WhatsApp and other social media platforms. So we created a bot called Africa Brief AI with the intention of that our journalists and other people can access ChatGPT within their WhatsApp, because this is where they spend most of their time. So the question is, what kind of content can be used by Africa Brief AI? So there are a lot of things that you can produce for stories, for example, headlines, generate questions, anything that you can do, GPT, also do Africa Brief AI, which you can access via WhatsApp. And then maybe the $1 million question is, how can someone access Africa Brief AI? It's very simple. We've designed a QR code. So if you scan your WhatsApp through that QR code, you can access Africa Brief AI and then start interacting with it. For example, you can ask questions, you can post any content, and then it's to write an appropriate prompt. For example, change this content into a story. It's going to do that. You can even generate interview questions in a hurry. All right. So this is how you can interact with our chatbot, Africa Brief AI. And once you log in, send any message, for example, hi, whatever, this is the welcome message that you get. It's going to say, hello, my name is Africa Brief AI. I can help you with any type of content, stories, CVs, courses, name it, right? And then, of course, we also put a link of our website. This is a website for Substack. So this is done deliberately so that once you interact with our you can also subscribe to our newsletter. So finally, just to say, Africa Brief AI is there to help you to generate content, whatever you want, inside your WhatsApp. We've done this deliberately. Like I said, Africa and Malawi, most people are always found on WhatsApp. This is due to our economy. People want to choose buy internet bundle between bundle for WhatsApp and bundle internet and other uses. Most of the times they buy bundle for WhatsApp. So this is why we created a WhatsApp, a bot that can be accessed via WhatsApp. So if you want us to have, these are my contact details. There is my email address there. There's also our website, Substack. There's also my telephone number attached with me via WhatsApp. So finally, this is a brief presentation. A bot that created called Africa Brief AI, just meant to gain access to ChatGPT via WhatsApp. That's it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Winston, and amazing on time. So now I'm passing the microphone to Samia. You're there, and you already have control over your slides. So you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Anna, for giving us this opportunity, and thanks for Journalism AI for, again, another successful festival. And today I'm going to be talking to you about an interesting project that we've been working on this year, which is the Arij AI strategy for small and medium-sized newsrooms, and it's in Arabic. So just to let you know first at the beginning that this is a project that won the Google News Initiative Innovation Fund in 2022, and okay, and this is one of the first project of its kind since it kind of sets the framework for a lot of newsrooms in the Arab world which are interested in talking and working within AI. So I'm not going to talk today a lot about the strategy, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's next. So we've developed the strategy. So what have we learned through our engagement with newsrooms that we should be doing next? Okay. Okay, just a very quick overview of the strategy. So the strategy is in Arabic. I'm going to be pasting the link at the end. It consists of a little test or a quick test that people can do so that they can evaluate their knowledge, they can evaluate their understanding and their expertise when it comes to AI within their newsrooms. It also consists of the strategy itself, which is a detailed strategy of the use of AI. What does AI? What can AI bring in terms of opportunities for different newsrooms? And we also developed a special dictionary or glossary for different concepts and terminologies of AI, but in Arabic, because one of the things that we want to try and do is to unify the way in which we deal or talk about AI in Arabic. So we've developed a strategy, and it's available for everybody to go through, to take and do their own framework based on the strategy. But what's next? So what we've learned through our engagement and communication with different newsrooms in the Arab world. And especially we just finished our 16th annual forum, and a lot of the discussion was based on AI. And so talking to them, we figured out that there are three main things that we should be focusing on when we help newsrooms in the Arab world deal with AI. The first thing is awareness and literacy. A lot of the questions that we get or requests that we get talk about the tools, but we believe that it's beyond that. It's not just about the tools. It's about understanding what AI is. It's about understanding what the problems that we have in our newsrooms and how can we bring those two things together so that we're able not just to use tools one time or two times, but also solve our problems using artificial intelligence. The other thing that is a worry for a lot of the newsrooms, which is ethical implications. And this has to do with things like privacy, with things like bias, and how can we counter bias when it comes to journalism production. Things that has to do with rights, with copyrights, misinformation, disinformation. So this has a special section, but this also needs further discussion when it comes to different newsrooms. The other thing, and the most important thing, is identifying knowledge gaps. And this refers to the first point that I just talked about, which is, what problems do we have in newsrooms? What challenges do we have in newsrooms? And how can AI help us? And this needs a special kind of workflow within a newsroom to figure out these problems and these challenges, and internally use the AI strategy that's available for everyone to help overcome such problems. So this is going to be our mission for the next year, for 2024. We've developed the strategy. Next is to talk to newsrooms, to engage with the newsrooms in tackling these three things. So we're hoping that we might come next year during the Journalism AI Festival, maybe to discuss what have we learned out of these discussions. Thank you very much for giving me the time and the platform. And I hope, even if it's in Arabic, I hope you're going to find this useful and helpful for all the newsrooms. Thank you very much, Anna.
Amazing. Thank you, Samia. And of course, Arif's work has been super insightful in many ways. We heard Sasha yesterday, so well, we know them. And next, I'm receiving Golte. Please now correct me on your name. You already have control over your slides, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, and I hope you can hear me good. Great to be here. My name is Gaute Kokkvold, and I'm head of product at Factiverse, and we work with fact-checking and AI. And today I'll share some of the challenges and hopefully also some of the opportunities that we've experienced over the last couple of years working with this challenge. So yeah, as you know, disinformation is a huge issue, and since basically I had my first fact-checking startup back in 2012, and you know, this misinformation was kind of the term, and now fake news is basically a household name, and I'm pretty sure all of you can relate to this, that it's a growing concern. And obviously now with the rise of large language models, the issue is probably even more apparent. Just to leave you with a note here, it's during January this year, the output from ChatGPT alone was double of all the text that's been published since 1440 and the printing press invention. And this in practice means that, you know, the supply of this information which will be infinite. And it also puts another kind of level of challenge for anyone working with the credible information, fact-checking and research. Because suddenly going into kind of the grocery store of online information has changed quite rapidly. And basically today it's a huge challenge just getting, you know, the overview, what information is out there and what information can I also trust with my work. And we've been working on this at Factiverse for the last several years, with the challenge kind of going deep into how do we make sure that AI can actually help journalists and especially fact checkers in their manual work. What is the work process they have to go through? We spend a lot of time, you know, working with these kind of detectors challenges, and you're probably well aware that if you have and kind of AI detector on this side and then AI generator on this side. It's basically putting two mirrors up into each other. And that might not necessarily be the route to take in order to kind of find this common truth or to get kind of an assessment of credibility. And I'll come back to this point in a second. So we saw for the last years, we were actually part of Journalism AI Challenge in 2021, and I've had a really good experience working with international newsrooms, trying to figure out what is the kind of the challenges that are in the different newsrooms. And we saw actually quite early on that this kind of saying that this is true or this is false is typically not the ideal way to present the kind of the assessment. And I think that echoes also some of the other fact checkers that have been talking earlier today, that it's not necessarily about finding this absolute truth, but more about kind of getting the bigger picture, seeing the context, and also kind of making it easier and more fun actually to explore online information. So during our work, we quite early on, we pivoted from this assessment of this is true, this is false. And in the Factverse editor today, you can basically paste in any type of text, whether that be generated from ChatGPT or it's in your workflow of publishing an article. Factverse quickly scans through the whole article and detects factual claims. So that's like the first step of our technology. And from there, we run our search in Google, Bing, Semantic Scholar, Wikidata, and then kind of collect what are the most relevant online sources out there before we rank them based on our machine learning model for credibility. And this is where we're kind of going more into the depth of how can we kind of quickly showcase to our editor, to our researcher, analyst, giving you like, what are the kind of disputed claims in my article, and what are some potential sources I can use to litigate or to make it more credible. And we see that accessibility, and I don't know, it's been discussed quite a lot today. Accessibility is such a big part, whether that be through WhatsApp or Telegram, but making sure that we can actually meet our users, whether that be the end user or a journalist, making sure that I can actually get this type of tools where they are working is a huge opportunity and also a challenge. But as we saw with the GPT that we just launched in ChatGPT ecosystem, really boosts the effort that people can now access this type of data a lot quicker than earlier. So verification is not necessarily about guarding a specific truth. I think that's one of the biggest insights we've seen at Factverse. It's much more about bringing in explainability, showing how the models work, being transparent about the methodology and the practices, and obviously also, last but not least, keeping the human in the loop. For us to be efficient fact checkers or working with information, we need to understand how the models are operating, and that's definitely the big focus for Factverse. So just to round up with a good quote from kind of the godfather of journalism: there can be no liberty for a community which lacks the means to detect lies. Now we also have a free 2-week trial for Journalism AI. Please get in touch if you have any questions or want to chat. Thank you so much.
Amazing. So you can reach God there and also at JournalismAI Connect. So we just all of you there. And next comes Sada. And Sada, if you're around, I'm just giving you the slides control so you can go through them. And you're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. I'll be talking about an ASO Times, which is a product that we launched this year. It's a very self-funded project, a very small team of myself and my partner of 2, self-funded by ourselves. The whole idea of ASO Times is to be able to design a digital newspaper that can be read and shared using WhatsApp AI chatbots. We try to showcase human-centered stories across Nigeria. Most of the stories coming out of Nigeria are mostly coming out of Lagos or the capital Abuja, but Nigeria is a very diverse country with more than 500 different languages. So with ASO Times, we try to showcase different parts of Nigeria through human-centered stories. I was really interested in the first presentation which Nikita mentioned, the use of AI in experimentation, and that's what we've been trying to do over the last 1 year. We are a very small team, so we are looking at how we could experiment with AI to showcase these stories that we're very interested in across the whole of Nigeria. This is a sample of our latest issue. that's issue 5 from October 2023. Here we were trying to look at how TikTokers in Nigeria are being jailed for the content that they produce. So these are kind of stories that we're interested in, which do not necessarily come out of, especially northern part of Nigeria, in mainstream news outlets. Why WhatsApp? Like we've seen from Malawi, also Nigeria also has a huge WhatsApp users, about 90 million users, with a projected increase of 175% between 2022 and 2028. 92% of internet users in Nigeria between age 16 to 64 also use WhatsApp. So it's a huge platform in which people consume both news as well as disinformation and fake news. So what's our AI vision? Like I mentioned, we are still experimenting. Our current try is just using the WhatsApp chatbot to be able to deliver news to people right on their WhatsApp. We're looking to also use AI to unlock revenue streams by managing community of audiences, how we could use AI for community management in terms of subscription. Currently, ASO Times is free to read for audiences on their WhatsApp. We're looking at to see how AI can help us to look at different revenue streams. Another experimentation we're looking at is using machine learning for news production, as well as machine learning for news distribution. And the most important one we hope to achieve is personalizing our news content to our audiences in their local Nigerian language, whereby we produce the content itself, the news magazine, as a PDF in English and distribute it to people on their WhatsApp, but they could now regenerate it to their local language. There are 500 languages in Nigeria, but we're looking to see the 3 major languages, which are Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo, where people could basically read the content in the language that they are comfortable with. Of course, you can check more of our work on asotimes.com or email us if you have any input, suggestion, or connections that you want to have with us via hi@asotimes.com. Thank you very much.
Amazing, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. And again, anyone that wants to get in touch with the team, they can also reach out to them at JournalismAI Connect. Did I say too much? Perhaps it's just because you're all welcome to join. Now it's the turn of Watchdog. The team here is Nisal, and you already have control over the slides. If you're around, Nisal.
Hi.
Perfect.
So I'm here to present. I'm Nisal. I'm here to present Dissect. We started as a fact checker in 2019 in Sri Lanka after the horrific Isa Sandera attacks. And we used the learnings we had as fact checkers over the last 4 years now to build an AI tool that will help fact checkers and journalists to dissect information that they find online. Dissect is an AI application that critically reads articles on the internet for you. Sorry. So Dissect can speed up the work of journalists and fact checkers and help with verification. We do it in a few ways. One, when you put in an article onto Dissect, we analyze the URL, we read it, and then we break down each claim made in that article and an assumption that supports that claim along with the claim primary source. As most of you might know, it's pretty useful to figure out where these, whenever you find an article, where the claim primary source is, so you can actually go to the original source and check it out. In addition, we also have information about the entities and people mentioned in the article, along with the timeline of events mentioned. So right now, Dissect is in a private beta version. So you can actually sign up for Dissect using the app, using the link that Prakash just put on the chat. And if you have any other questions, you can just ask me.
Perfect. So, read. Nathan, do you have some slides there? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Okay, perfect. Amazing. So that's all for now. I'm just stop sharing. Thank you. Thank you all of you who joined us today for our second session on the Lightning Talks. And they are all projects that are part of our community. So if you want to join us, just apply to connect.